Hey YouTube, it's me. The reason why I'm doing this video is the fact that I need to get some stuff situated and tell people how I really feel. A lot of times we have people in our lives, right? And these people don't mean us well. By their fruits, you gonna know them. You can't keep telling me you love me and you showing me hate. You can't keep saying I'm for you, but yet and still you doing things against me. You can't sit up there and straddle the fence, Every once in a while you do something good and it's followed up by 7 times as much badness. I'm gonna bless you, but I'm gonna bless you with 7 times as much badness. You know what I'm saying? I'm blessing you right now. You got, let's say you get $1 million blessing. Okay, we gave you $1 million blessing, but it's followed up with $7 million worth of debt. That's not you blessing me. That's not you caring for me. You could have got $1 million and took the $7 million debt with you. But this is the type of things that people want to give to us. And we have to start distinguishing between people that's really for us and people that's against us. People that's for us going to show us that they for us by the things that they do, by their fruit, by certain things that they do to us. A lot of times we stuck in stagnation with confusion. Let's just be real. There's no need to be confused. Let's start breaking this thing down. What have you shown me that says that you're against me? And what have you shown me that says that you're for me? Now, if you're showing me a whole bunch of results that you're for me, I can say, hey, you're for me. Everybody makes mistakes. I understand you ain't perfect. I understand that you ain't got it all together. So there's going to be certain situations where you're going to make mistakes. And I have to accept that. Sometimes they're not even your mistakes. Sometimes, people come in disguise trying to attack us, trying to do harm against us. They come in the image of our own people. The very people who tell you they love you the most is the image that the enemy is going to use against you. Because as long as I can use the person that loves you against you, I'm good. Because this person is genuine. So they're going to show you genuine love. So they're always showing you love. But guess what image the enemy going to use? The one that's always showing you love. The enemy going to use your mama. They gave you a mama for a reason. So they can use that person against you. You were shown love by your mother for a reason. So that when you are separated from her, the enemy can try to destroy you with her image. You have to be prepared for everything that the enemy is going to throw out against you, because the enemy is a clever psychiatrist. And when I say it's a manipulative one, it's a manipulative one. We know about mental health therapy. We know about healing psychology. We know about healing people. But guess what? Everybody is not going to use the healing the right way. Some of them use it as a disease. We look at the movie I Am Legend, right? I Am Legend talks about a cure to cancer, right? So the people administered the vaccine. It's the cure. But guess what? Another one used that same vaccine to create a virus and begin to plague the people. We have to really take into consideration, because it's so flamboyantly there, but what's happening with our society, these people are speaking to us. They're speaking to us in the music. They're speaking to us in all this different stuff. They're telling us what's going to come. These are angelic people. These are godly people. But at the same time, they're trying to tell us, look, hey, there's a lot of stuff these people are doing against us. There's a lot of things that's happening. And they're doing it all over Hollywood. They're just putting it out there. But guess what's happening? We're dumbfounded. The people are going to tell you, look, we sang unto you, and you did not lament. You did not even ask God for forgiveness. We sung the song telling you what these people were doing against you, and you didn't ask God for forgiveness. We done all this stuff. We created movies. to show you what these people was doing against you, and you didn't lament. You didn't even ask God for forgiveness. You just kept going. And it's a reason why you keep going, because you're suffering from what Adam and Eve suffers from. It's not that you lack intelligence. It's the fact that they trying to dumbfound you. I'm going to show you something. In every heaven that God created for us, Satan came in and turned it into a hell. Garden of Eden, created for you. Satan came in, took that bad boy over, turned it into complete hell, and then turned around and said he was God. Demonic people did this. Ungodly people came in, took over Eden, dumbfounded you. You in the garden, you just working. You ain't even know you were dumbfounded. You just woke up one day dumbfounded and bound. Can't even free yourself. Talking about they're over you. And these are the same children of God. So guess what? They learned from God how to do things. So of course they know about the talents. Of course they know about the trade. Of course they know about the purity, wellness, and wellness too. But how will they use what they know? They're never going to use it for the good. They're never going to use it for God. They're never going to use it to empower the people. And guess what? Anybody that's trying to do it, they're trying to stop them. Because they want us sick. They want us diseased. They want us in war, raped off. They want us in poverty. They want you hungering. They want you not having. They do this not only to you. They start with babies. They start with babies. And it's the reason why they start with babies, because it's a mindset that they're trying to get a child to understand that a child doesn't already come with intellect. It's an empty vessel. So therefore, if I can sit up there and I can manipulate the mindset, this joker going to grow up not knowing who he is. So they start with babies at a young age. And guess what? They'll have you subservient to them instead of to the word of God. God was the word, and the word was God. Know who I am. Know God, so that you can know who you are, because you was made in that image. So if I know the word of God, I know how I'm supposed to be, because this is the image that I'm made in. This is what's going on. Okay, they didn't just attack me. They attacked God when they attacked me, because they were attacking God's image. I was made in the image of God, so I already know you don't like God, but here you are in the church trying to minister and preach godly things, but you don't like God. God ain't for you. So you don't like God, because God said, I can't give that which is righteous to the unrighteous. God will never sit up there and give that which is righteous, which is the word of God, his image, to that which is unrighteous. Sorry, you guys. I've been dealing with so much lately. I have to take a pause every once in a while. Sometimes I feel like people shoving stuff down my throat, all kinds of stuff. But grace be to God. Thank God for life. Thank God for everything that he's doing, because that lets me know that there is life even where there is death. That lets me know that God is still working. That lets me know that he hasn't given up on me and closed the door and say, okay, this one's done, this one's through. So I'm just going to keep on doing what I got to do, because a lot of times we're going to wake up amongst our enemies. And why are we waking up amongst our enemies? Why are we waking up amongst our enemies? We're waking up amongst our enemies because we didn't remove our enemies from no place that we were at. Let me be real with you. If a person's showing you that they ain't for you, by their fruits you're going to know them. You're not for me. I don't care what fruits you present to me. If you're showing me that you're not for me, them fruits is going to represent what you are for me. I'm going to be real with you. In this day and time, young women, I always tell my daughters don't date. And there's motive behind me telling them not to date. I tell my daughters not to date for a reason. First reason is this. A lot of men don't like women. A lot of them are into homosexuality. A lot of them believe in men reigning. They really don't care for a woman. They hate women altogether. So they believe in males reigning over women. And they don't really have respect for women. So when you encounter these men aren't going to be as flamboyant and say, look, I can't stomach you, I can't stand you, or whatever. They'll try to pretend like they Casanova, Prince Charming, or something like that, when they really don't like you. I heard a man told me, you ain't going to have clothes, you going to walk around naked, or whatever. But this same man trying to keep me in the same state that I'm in, because guess what? In this state, I clothe myself. So that's the only reason why I got clothes, because I can clothe myself. Had I not had clothes, you wouldn't even give me a pair of pants, underwear, or nothing else to clothe myself with. So you think that you're going to sit up here and manipulate the fact, but we already know what you is. And this ain't just happened. This been happening way back. So you got to know what you're dealing with. Because that would say, oh, I'm clothing you and I'm taking care of you and I'm doing all this stuff. What all you got to do to get it? Trust me, they ain't just sending you money, or they ain't just doing all this for you. You better know what you're dealing with. People gonna say stuff to you, gonna want you dependent on them and stuff like that. But I know I can't get nothing out of this person without doing something. So therefore, be wise and stuff like that. I remember one time, I never liked it working for people and stuff like that, but I realized that I needed to go to work. I never wanted to work for nobody. I always wanted to work for myself. But I found myself in a state where I had to work for these people. Am I going to complain? No, I got to get up and do what I got to do, and I got to provide for myself, because if I don't provide for myself, what man or woman you know that's going to provide for me? Not now. If I don't feed my kids, not now it's going to feed them. And trust me, when I first started, when God first opened up my eyes and I started coming back to God, I had let go of a job. I was working in correction, and I let that job go. I was working in correction. This is what at least I thought that I was doing. I was working in corrections, and when I was working in corrections, I was a sergeant, and they were getting ready to promote me to lieutenant. Do you know the enemy will come in to destroy you, and you don't even know it? So I'm getting ready to go up to lieutenant. I think I got it made. You know, I'm doing good. I'm working. I'm trying to do what I got to do for myself. And I started to realize that, you know, I need my own. So I say, I'm going to leave this and I'm going to go start my own company. So I resigned. Never made it to lieutenant. Resigned. Thank you for the opportunity of working with you all, but this is going to be my last night. I called the guy that I was dating at the time. I said, come pick me up. He came to pick me up in my car. And at that time, I was paying his car insurance, my car insurance, all the stuff I was doing, all the stuff I was paying out and stuff like that. But then I came to find out that there was problems there in that relationship when I didn't have. Because as long as you have, as long as you're doing what you got to do for yourself, you always hustling, you always bustling, you always doing what you got to do. Sometimes you're working almost 24 hours, you know. You only got time to sleep. By the time you come in, I sleep, I'm back on the hustle. You know what I'm saying? I sleep, I'm bathing, I'm out. You know, and I didn't have much time for my kids. I didn't know what was going on with them. I didn't know what was going on with me. I didn't know what was going on in the house. I didn't know nothing. Just completely docile. Because all my time comes from me just working and providing for them, which I realized that was me showing them love, because the moment that I couldn't work, my children were taken. The moment that I couldn't provide, everything is gone. Everything gone. So I started to realize, okay, if everything leaves when I'm working, if I'm working, everything shows up. Everybody there. But when I'm not working, everybody gone. What kind of fruit is that? What kind of fruit is that? I stopped dating after this situation completely, so I don't date at all But I'm asking, what kind of fruit is that? Then when you got family ain't what they supposed to be no more. So you're waking up to family and starting to look at family a little bit different, because that's the same one who's gonna tell me something. Okay, see if I care if you're naked. See if I this. See if I that. Remind you, I clothe me. You don't clothe me. You wouldn't even clothe me even if you could. So I clothe me. I had to recognize that, because the hate you sending, I already know you wouldn't clothe me. You'll prefer to be over me and watch me walk around naked and pretend like you for me. But that's the hatred of a man's heart. You'll never know your enemy's true face until you go through and you don't have nothing. So all praises to God for the times when I didn't have, because He actually showed me who's going to really be there. And let me tell you something. You're going to learn eventually in life, and I tell people this all the time. You're going to learn when you ain't got nothing, that's when you're going to find out where your real friends at. Where people that really be there for you at. You get what I'm saying? If a person pick you up and you ain't got nothing to give to them, not one single time to give to them, that's a genuine person. But what you find now, you can't hang out with people that don't have nothing, because these are the same people that they're going to use to curse you. They're going to make you take on their burden. I dated this guy. When I met him, he had nothing. I started to go through his burdens. They did a cipher. I started to go through problems, his burdens, everything he got going on. I'm saying to myself, I ain't never went through no mess like this. Never had to be bothered with this. God showing me images of like as if it's like a switch or something. I'm sitting up here and I was like, okay, I'm seeing what's going on. So me personally, I started dating at all, because I started to realize sometimes the people that we invite in our lives, they cause burdens for me. They'll cause burdens for my children. They can cause generational curses. They can cause me not to have. They can cause me to go through problems. So I won't even date. I don't care if you're talking marriage, because I already know a marriage bed is defiled. Y'all defiled them beds. Y'all defiled them. So I don't want to marry. I don't want to be in no relationship, because I already know what's coming. But I started noticing certain things, like the devil's trying to erase my memory. Or you want me to forget about what I've been through. You want me to forget about the stuff that was done to me. You want me to forget about the abuse that I sustained. You want me to forget about all this crap that happened in my life, and I can't just let it roll like that. You get what I'm saying? I can't allow myself to go through this type of stuff, because I know you know that I know you did me wrong. So I have to be smarter than what others think that I'm supposed to be, because I realize that the enemy is trying to destroy me. So I got to use my head in any ways possible, because the enemy want to erase everything bad that he did so he can redo it. And when he redo it this time, you might not end up as focused as you are. You might not end up on the winning side, because guess what the enemy knows? I know where I messed up at now. See, the enemy learns from his mistakes. Sometimes we don't. And the reason why we don't, because we can't remember what happened. We can't remember the mistakes and stuff like that. That's the whole purpose of the Bible being written. When Apostle Paul says, it's better to be alone. It's not that he's telling you not to be around your kids and your family and stuff. No, but he's telling you, you're going to have to be alone in some seasons, because there are things that are going to attack you that's very demonic. That does not mean good for you. It does not want you to prosper. I want to become so in sync with God that it's like as if I'm a possession of God and I'm on fire for God. The same way the demons can puppeteer you to do wrong, God's going to be puppeteering you to do right. When you get in line with God, and that's it. So you can sit up there and you can put on that same guardian, like that, they call it a demonic guardian suit. I can put on that godly demonic guardian suit and let you know that I'm repping God all day, all night. and there ain't nothing you can do about it. But that's because we're out of alignment with God that these type of situations happen, and people begin to take advantage of us. People begin to try to destroy us. People begin to try to keep us in certain states. I can't tell you, I'm sitting up here, I'm trying to move out this man's house or whatever, but then I realize and say, you know what, I just got to deal with this. And yes, it's my dad, but at the same time, there's so much going on. There's so much hatred there. It's like sometimes I sit up here and I look at this man and I feel like this man hates me. Honestly. And I can't tell him, I feel like you hate my gut. But I'm here, I'm staying in your house, so I'm finna try to pay my rent. I'm finna try to do what I gotta do and just, get out the way. But I know that you hate me. Because there's certain things that's done that shows hatred. But this is what one deal with. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes I feel like you ain't even family. So, I just keep it to myself. But nobody knows what I go through. But like I said, remember, the enemy's going to always use a door. Guess what? You didn't have a door on 6th Street, so I can call the police. But the police show up, that's who you pretending to be. When you get all that mess out the house, when there's no person in the house but you, the enemy wants to show up as something that it's not. Get the mess out the house. Get from amongst them. When you leave from around them, you start to see what they really about. When you leave out from around them, you begin to grow. When you're around them, you notice stunted growth. Don't nothing grow. They telling you who they is. They telling you that they're weed. They're telling you that they don't want you to prosper. They telling you that they don't want you to grow. They eat weed. That's what they are. They weed. They eat weed. Weeds destroy nutrition. Why would a human want to eat weed and take weeds into their body when the weed doesn't offer for no nutrition? It strips the body of its minerals and nutrition, even in cooked form. So why would you want to eat callaloo when you know callaloo is stripping the body of its nutrients and minerals in cooked form? But they don't listen to this kind of guidance because they don't want this kind of guidance given, because they don't want you to prosper. You gotta be careful. They'll sit up there. They wanna be so great at what they do psychology wise. They'll sit up there and they'll be telling you and your son the same thing at the same time, and go see if you can catch on to it. But let me tell the enemy this: you ain't that smart. I was made in the image of God, who is smarter, and you ain't smart at all. Excuse me for my dumbfounded state that made you think you was better than me. But that state only came because I was out of alignment with God, listening to an image that looked similar to me. But this image only wanted to scrape and destroy the face of my Mona Lisa, destroy the face of my God, destroy the face of my Picasso, and render me with nothing. You never care. The fruit show it. You never care. You still going into war trying to regain territory that you lost, just to show how powerful you are and to show that things will never change. But guess what? Things are changing. I no longer wake up in the morning looking at scandals. I no longer wake up in the morning on the same thing that I was on. I no longer wake up with lack of motivation. I try to find things that are going to motivate me, that's going to put power back into me, that's going to put life back into me. And guess what? Even when I feel like it ain't working, I know it's working, because that's another trick that the enemy plays. The enemy wants you to feel like everything that you're doing is going in vain. You're not putting back into yourself. It's not going into a bank account. You're not reaping a reward for nothing that you do, because they'll fill up all the rewards. They'll fill up everything. When I can sit up here and I can honestly tell you, just this week alone, just these last 2 weeks, the enemy done stole money out of my bank account, done stole all kinds of stuff, stole stuff off. Listen to me, my phone went off. I paid my phone bill up 2 times last month. I paid for myself, which was at the first beginning, and then the next week after I paid my phone bill, I paid again to make sure that my phone never go off. I paid 2 weeks back to back. Guess whose phone went off? I wrote the police report. I know the police ain't going to do nothing. The police ain't going to enforce it. Because what is laws without enforcement? We can have rules all day, but if nobody living it and enforcing it, then it means nothing. We can have the Bible all day. That's why they don't like Jesus. That's why they crucified Jesus. Because Jesus not only believed in the laws and the rules of God, but he believed in living it. But these things don't want to live it, because they too busy trying to create hell. They too busy trying to reign and want to reign in hell. I'm sorry, but I know God has a heaven. When you start sitting up and you really start getting to the beginning of the Bible, and now we're at this generational part where you start reading the generations, right? And you start looking at it, and then you start noticing that there was a little issue there with Seth and with Cain. Because Seth and Cain line started to become like as if it was one. Here's Seth, Jared. We got Jared with Seth. And then now we got Cain, who actually had his line. And now they becoming one, so those names start to look identical, look the same. And when you start looking at Enoch and all this stuff like that, I'm like, hold up, wait a minute. Adam and Eve had another son. Then you start to question yourself, because these are codes, right? Biblical codes, right? And when we start looking at the biblical codes of this thing, okay, you killed Abel. Cain killed Abel, right? What happened with Seth? What happened with Seth? Because Seth and Cain line became identical, like as if they were one. What really happened? What's really good? And nobody talks about this type of stuff. How will you be able to tell the differential between Cain and Seth's line? Because those two lines became like as if they were one, and then it ended out. What really went on? But we don't talk about that type of stuff. And now they're really tell us about the book of Enoch. Well, last time I checked, Seth had Enoch in his line, and Cain has the same Enoch in his. But Seth, they felt it different because it ends with a sh instead of a shah. It ends with a sh instead of a shah. What's really good? What's really going on? But then, eventually, Seth's line become a shah, and Cain's line become a shah instead of a. But I was asked. They were like, as I'm spending a whole lot of time reading Genesis, people looking at me like, is that the only book she's gonna read? Gosh, I mean, you got the whole entire Bible. But I'm learning so much from reading the book. It's so much that I didn't see, so much that I didn't know, that now that I'm reading it, I'm like, hey, oh, interesting. So at some things that we have to know, because was it Seth's grandson that got taken up? Was this from Seth's line? Or was it from Cain's line? Because these lines have became one. There was two parallel to each other, now they're one line. What happened? What happened? Because we know about the great flood, know about the wipeout, we know about all that. But who line got wiped out? Who really died during that time? What really went on? So of course I'm taking so much time, like just reading the Word of God and just getting to know what's what. Because we be trying to rush through, like, I gotta get it. And I started to realize I ain't got none but time. I got time to burn through, time on my side. I got time to burn through. Let me take my time and actually get it. Let me take my time and actually know it. Let me take my time and actually grasp the concept of what's being put out here. What's really good. Because guess what? I don't want to be like it is with the music. The music have sung unto us, and we still didn't lament. Still didn't ask for forgiveness. We still didn't apologize. We still don't even realize that we're wrong. I don't want to be dumbfounded. I want to be saved. But that's a hard thing to be, because society has told us so many different things. He even told me, listen to me, there's no way that I can be in a demonic state and can't be saved, because God said if you turn from your wicked ways and seek me diligently, I can save you. If you turn and just seek the Word of God again, I can save you. That's what the Word of God says. But you got to first seek me out. See, because I started to realize back in Eden, we're surrounded by demons, but these are the children of God. We're surrounded by people, because we call them demons, because of their ways, because they're evil. But these are actual people surrounding us, manipulating us. But guess what? God taught them what they know. We walking into buildings every day where God's handprints is on the building, but at the same time, we don't realize that God's in the building. God's handprints on the building, but we don't know that God's in the building. I sat up there and I watched a movie about a young man who was on an elevator. And it was talking about the devil or something on the elevator, and what happened on the movie was the young man had killed a man's family. The man's family was a detective, and a demon went after him to bring him to justice. Bring the man's family to justice. So you can only imagine, all of them on the elevator, people just dying left and right. Left and right, because the man is now living with his demons. But the question was, who was actually killing these people? And it was him, because he had never resolved the fact of a hit and run. Or was it the demon that was killing people, who was chasing after them? Who knows? But he never resolved the situation. So all this death took place because he never came and said, I killed a person's family. The man ended up taking him into handcuffs and everything, and they found out that he was the one who killed the guy that was investigating the elevator incident family. Now, at some point, I'm pro-leniency. I don't, I'm going to be real with you. I don't think it takes all that. I really don't think it takes all that, but I think that what's really happening to our people, we're dealing with old demons that want stuff to get out, that want stuff to be told about you, that want people to know certain things about you. And They're doing that to sit up there and point a finger. And they don't understand you already in torture yourself. You weren't for this type of stuff, but guess what? They are. A demon ain't gonna let you go. A demon gonna always want you to blame yourself for something they did to you. Let me be real with you. A lot of the stuff that you go through in life, you didn't do it. You were compelled to do it. That's the first beginning. Let me tell you something. That's the first beginning of Genesis right there with Cain and Abel. Cain brings his fruit. Abel brings his animal, right? Abel gives him an animal. God say, yes, good job. Cain gives him the fruit. Say, no, bad job. Why didn't you give me fruit from the ground? There's fresh fruit in the tree. Pick the fruit and bring it to me. You get what I'm saying? Cain say, well, we've been eating the fruit from the ground. Wasn't nothing wrong with us eating the fruit from the ground. Could there be a teaching issue there? Because this is how we eat fruit. But the way we eat fruit ain't good enough for you. So this is why when we lack understanding of God, we sometimes end up hating Him. Because we don't understand, like, why can't I date? Let me be real with you. God revealed to myself that I once put this on before where I wasn't dating. And it was like as if we want the war and everything. And we were angry with God because we was like, hey, why can't we date? Why? And this is an actual dream that I went through. Why can't we date now? We won the war. We're good. We're okay. We made it. Yes. It's time for us to raise our families and become family people and become good. And then God showed me, He said, you hadn't won the war was still going on. We needed you to stay in the fight. You did this before. We needed you to stay in the fight. And that's what put me in a dumbfounded situation for all those years before. We want the war. And because we decided to raise our families, get married, have a family, we ended up dealing with bacteria. So we went all the way back, all those years, and had to suffer through it. The war is number one. If you're going to pick a course, stick to it, stay on it. Because the demons and the bacteria we have to deal with, it's not going to let us rest. Hopefully these words encourage you guys. Stay blessed.